Hey, this is next video. We're going to go ahead and talk about the nephron. So we're still talking about the urinary system. And our last video, we went ahead and talked about all of the different structures of the kidney, and we talked about the cortex, and we talked about the renal pelvis, and basically we're going to talk about all of that again, except for we're going to get a little bit more detailed. So now we're going to talk about the nephron. So a nephron is just a structural unit of the kidney. So it's just a smaller unit of the kidney. So the structural and functional unit of a kidney. You might want to write that down as a definition. It's responsible for forming urine, and there are two major structures of the nephrons. Those are the glomerulus as well as the renal tubule. So the glomerulus is going to be this little red structure, I guess when I circled it, you can't see it very well anymore, and then it also has to do with the renal tubule. So there's kind of what we're looking at here. Just to get yourself oriented from the last video, the renal cortex is this area right here, and then the renal medulla or medulla is going to be right in here. So the major anatomy here is the glomerulus. The glomerulus is basically a knot of capillaries. So a lot of blood is going to be exchanged, gases will be exchanged, toxins will be exchanged, all sorts of things are going to be exchanged at these capillaries. So these capillaries are going to be covered with podocytes from the renal tubule. So basically we're looking at the glomerulus is really just this area right in here. Okay, the glomerulus is going to sit within a glomerular or a Bowman's capsule, which is the first part of the renal tubule. So if we look, if I erase this, you'll be able to see kind of all of these squiggly kind of structures, and basically this is the orientation or the process in which urine or fluid is going to go through these network of capillaries and network of nephron structures, and it's going to pull out and reabsorb the things that should be in your bloodstream, and it's going to get rid of the stuff that should not be in your blood, and it'll form urine. All right, so here's a better diagram, a little bit more magnified here. So the renal tubule extends from the glomerular capsule and it ends at the collecting duct. So there's basically 4 different structures you need to be aware of, and I would probably know the order of these. So you're going to start at the glomerulus, and the glomerulus is basically right in here. So this is the glomerulus, and this is a Bowman's capsule. So Bowman's capsule is right in here. Okay, so this is step 1. So basically you're going to have things are going to be filtered here. Then it's going to go, that fluid is going to be pushed upward towards this structure called the proximal convoluted tubule, or PCT. Basically this is proximal, meaning it's closer to the surface of that kidney. So it's going to go through this series of networks. I'm not going to follow the path very well. The next one is the loop of Henle. So the loop of Henle is basically the process of going down this really large loop. So that's the loop of Henle. That's step 3. Oops, I didn't circle that very well. And then the 4th one is the distal convoluted tubule. So after, we're going to go back up here, and then we have this little distal convoluted tubule right here. So the whole purpose of each of these 4 steps and all of these capillaries that are in, you can see that they're all wrapped around with capillaries. You have arterioles as well as venules. So it's showing that there's a lot of gases being exchanged. There's a lot of fluid. There's a lot of toxins. There's just a lot of things that are happening here. The purpose of these all being so long and really small and really twisty and windy is to make sure that you can absorb, your kidneys can reabsorb all the things that the body needs, as well as getting rid of or filtering the toxins back into this nephron structure. So the collecting duct is basically what's going to receive the urine from the nephron. So all of these are little nephron units made up of the Bowman's capsule, the proximal convoluted tubule, the loop of Henle, the distal convoluted tubule, and then once that fluid is left, once you have that leftover fluid, so all the stuff that your body does not want to keep, then it gets transferred into these collecting ducts. So you see this little area where we have the collecting duct, and the collecting duct is basically going to run through the medullary pyramid, and it'll deliver your urine into the renal pelvis, which is going to be down here. So the major nephron anatomy, we have the nephrons that are associated with two capillary beds, the glomerulus, and then we also have the peritubular capillary bed as well. And then the glomerulus is fed and drained by the arterioles. So remember, the arterioles are bringing oxygenated blood to that area. You have the afferent arteriole, which is arising from the cortical radiate artery. Then you have the efferent arteriole as well. The glomerulus is specialized for filtration, meaning that we're going to filter the bad stuff out, and we're going to filter the good stuff back into your body. Okay, this is a high pressure system, so it forces fluids and solutes out of the blood and into the glomerular capsule. So that basically wraps up the nephron structure, and I hope you found that helpful.